Now more than ever, people who consider themselves INFJ empaths can't help but to feel a deep sense of uncertainty and discomfort. Rooted in the chaotic happenings of today's world, these empathetic individuals have a choice to make: spiral downwards through fear or ascend with a deeper understanding of the world around them. Welcome back, psychos! Today, we're going to be talking all about the INFJ empath and how they deal with the harsh injustices of the world. Before we get into today's video, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the notification bell so that you never miss a video. So, let's get right into the video, starting with number 1. They look deeper than the surface. Curious and open-minded, the INFJ questions just about everything that comes their way. They're not known for taking things at face value, and because of that, they have a one-up when it comes to analyzing the difficulties of life and the world as a whole. When it comes to worldly issues, the INFJ empath is able to use their analytical skills to dive deeper than what they've been told to believe. While it may be scary at times, especially when they uncover information that goes against everything they were ever taught in life, for the INFJ who feels so deeply, it's only necessary. They utilize their initial fear and discomfort that stems from global and local issues in a positive manner by using it to encourage themselves to learn more. Without this simple tendency, the INFJ empath would easily get overwhelmed by certain collective uncertainties. Number 2, they avoid mainstream media. One of the first things every empathetic INFJ learns while penetrating through the surface information is to avoid all instilled fear and propaganda. In other words, they turn off the news and stop getting consumed by social media's views on certain matters, whether it be lack of equality, stolen freedoms, or global injustices. Every INFJ eventually comes to realize that if someone is making a profit off of a story, there's going to be a decent amount of bias, inaccuracy, and exaggeration. Instead, they take matters into their own hands by doing their own research in hopes of uncovering just the facts with no fluff, hence their need for digging deeper. Which brings us to number 3. They listen to other people's views. INFJs are curious souls, and nothing intrigues them more than gaining insights into others' perspectives of the world. And while this intuitive type doesn't follow any opinion blindly, they thrive on receiving the most information about a topic as possible, especially through the eyes of a fellow human. They want to gauge the severity and details of the problems in the world by listening to the very people who are affected by it, directly or indirectly. Some INFJ empaths may resort to finding like-minded influencers, spiritual leaders, or reading material that allows them the proper insight into the information they need, without the fear-based antics attached. Or they may actually ask their friends and family what their views are on a matter. There's no right or wrong answer because the INFJ forms their opinion based on the many viewpoints they collect. In fact, listening to genuine opinions from real people can be a refreshing take when they feel bombarded by unavoidable media consumption. Number 4, ignore their inner critic. No one will ever critique an INFJ for their thought patterns like the INFJ themselves. In fact, without the proper personal boundaries set in place, the INFJ empath can get so consumed in worldly injustices and unfairness that they themselves begin to wonder if they're overreacting. Yet, once an empathetic INFJ has reached the conclusion that they feel so deeply for a reason, they can actively ignore this critical voice once and for all. When it comes to things that are beyond their immediate control, INFJs have the option to either use their uneasy feelings towards the matter to grow, or they can listen to that voice and try to ignore their feelings towards the matter. If they choose to ignore them, it's almost guaranteed that it will eventually lead to emotional burnout because the underlying fears and sadness don't go away. It's not to say they must solve the issue, but the mature INFJ empath knows to quiet that inner critic to follow their hunches. Number 5. Cautiously avoids catastrophizing. Catastrophizing is a pattern of thinking that jumps to the worst-case scenario, and it's no doubt that INFJs can spiral into a catastrophizing thought pattern when faced with unfairness in the world. However, focusing on what-ifs and if-nots often ends up increasing overall feelings of stress and anxiety. However, the cautious INFJ empath realizes that they don't need any additional exaggerations on current events, especially the what-ifs that are rooted in fear. And so, when these uncertainties arise, they can tune into their intuitive sense to calibrate and find out what could be fantasy and what is most likely to be true. Number 6, they resort to shifting their own energy. When you can't change your surroundings, you're challenged to change yourself. And, for the INFJ empath, this couldn't be more true. In fact, being so highly sensitive in an ever-changing and chaotic world, the INFJ personality type doesn't really have a choice to shift to the positive if they want to maintain their emotional equilibrium. Some more spiritual INFJ empaths believe that contributing to the collective consciousness using their own positivity can make a difference. They know that if they emanate love, light, and positivity wherever they go, their infectious energy will have an effect on the people they meet, or even just pass by. Instead of wallowing in the negative aspects of things, they will actively shift their views to see the beauty in the world's problems. Number 7, they escape reality with solitude. Even the most experienced INFJ empaths need their time to hide away when their surroundings become overwhelming. The main difference between the unstable INFJ empath and their more experienced counterpart is in the way they allow themselves their alone time, without guilt, ill feelings, or self-criticisms. Rather than beating themselves up over not putting a plan into action of how they themselves can help the injustices, mature INFJ empaths know that sometimes going within is much more influential than the latter. They understand that if they become consumed in the issue, then they ultimately lose the battle by allowing fear to override their own needs and desires. However, solitude can be a rather addicting place to be when there's a lot going on in the world. So, it's best when the INFJ empath has a plan of action. This is when meditations, journaling, and solo physical activity can make all the difference in their mental and emotional outlook on life. Number 8, they allow their intuition to run wild. Like we previously mentioned, sometimes all an INFJ's got to do is sit back and tune into their inner compass. Yes, the famous introverted intuition function that is only dominantly utilized by the INFJ and the INTP personality types. When an INFJ empath truly allows their intuition to take over by tuning in and tuning out, anxiety and panic magically subside. Even if the INFJ is led to information that is interpreted as negative, when it comes from a place of intuition or higher self, it can seem less frightening. When they use their dominant function as intended, they are met with a peace of mind that makes going through the roller coaster of human life on this crazy planet a little more bearable. Plus, if the INFJ is able to contribute to solving the injustice in any way, shape, or form, you can bet their best ideas will come from this intuitive place. Number 9, they understand their emotions may not be their own. The INFJ is known for having trouble processing their own emotions, yet they have the ability to effortlessly tune into the thoughts and feelings of other people. This phenomenon, mixed with the INFJ's autopilot nature of absorbing the emotions of others, ends up making it difficult when it comes to distinguishing their emotions to that of others. When an INFJ empath is constantly absorbing the emotional information of the people around them, it can make understanding their own thoughts and opinions on matters that much more difficult. Yet, an experienced INFJ empath will eventually learn this concept, making it easier to face any emotional situation, including mass uncertainty. The INFJ empath is able to use this to their advantage by relating to and understanding the deep-set emotions of individuals and the collective as a whole. Well, psychos, that's it for today. So, How do you cope with worldly injustices as an INFJ empath? Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share it with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.